I have to do it for purposes of purification and dispel all the colonialism attitude, corruption, because weed is used to purify. But I'll add that if who would I want to be around? When I was young, the KBC used to bring this show called Dunia Wiki Hii, and my parents used to insist that we watch news. At that time, the woman who was known at the 90s was Baroness, the late Margaret Thatcher. And I used to see her caricatures and ask myself, how do you get here? So I'd want to be with her, I'd want to smoke with her if she was alive, and tell her, you're very right. If you want something said, send a man. But if you want something done, tell a woman to do it. And the reason I was compelled to join Roots Party was the fact that they were explaining how we are going to make money for this country. I graduated from Daystar in 2010, and I can assure you that I've never been formally employed. 2010 up to now is close to 12 years, right? I've never been formally employed. And when I went to university, my vision was, I used to sit in class and fantasize about the Toyota Platts. At my time, it was either Vitz or Platts. So I knew after I graduate, I will leave home, rent out my own place and buy a Toyota Platts. It never materialized. So when I heard about Prof, I sent in my application to Roots Party for the running mate position because I believed in his vision. It takes risk takers to change society. We are the risk takers. We are risking that some section of Kenyans will fight us. Political class may see us as a threat. But if we want the best for this country, if I want my grandchildren, that means my children and my grandchildren and the next generation from me to never go through the depression of unemployment, which is eating many youth. Our parents too are suffering from depression in their own way. They took out loans to educate us. I remember my parents would pay for me per semester. Dad takes loans here, mom takes loans there. And they pay for me in Daystar, and it was quite costly because my parents believed that education is the key to success. But as it is now, after your graduation party, people ask you, did you get a job? You're even embarrassed. Ask youth now, anyone who has graduated, they do not want to even have a party because they don't know what they'll tell people. Needless to say, most universities require you to do internship. Even internship itself, unpaid, is a challenge. So that is why I agree with Prof and I agree with Roots Party. Being a woman, I'm a wife. Firstly, I must say my husband has given me the permission to be in this. He's here with me. I'm a mother to a 3-year-old girl. And I can assure the women that our intention is not for purposes of smoking. In any case, if we have a stoned nation, people who lack focus, then what nation are we leading? That is why I'm telling them, and I would like them to hear this out, that marijuana has two components. The CBD aspect of it that produces industrial hemp, and the THC component of it that gives the psychoactive ingredient. How we are going to control this is by using KEFIS and KEBS. Those institutions will identify the seed that we want. This seed's component will be 0.3 or less THC, the psychoactive ingredient. So even if it is grown there, kirui, and you pluck one and eat or chew, it doesn't have the psychoactive ingredient. You will not get high. So we are going to use KEFIS and KEBS. Another thing, when you go out there, a while back when tea and coffee was doing well, we used to have agricultural officers. Of course, Kenyans would want to do what the government is. Some of them would want to do what government does not want. They might be tempted to plant the THC component of it. So we'll reintroduce the agricultural officers who used to go around farms to inspect, are we doing what you're supposed to do? Are you doing what government has said? So that is a control measure. In addition to government land, NYS was a good project, but they did not have the end game in place. After pass out, you see them back in the streets, back in the villages. We'll recall them to man the public land. In case of, people may start stealing, like you've seen avocados are being stolen. So of course we need to protect government property. That in essence creates employment while still controlling marijuana. So I'm going to insist on this, that marijuana has two components: THC, the psychoactive ingredient, and the CBD that gives us industrial hemp or fiber. And we want the fiber, not the THC. But again, THC is used to make medicine for Alzheimer's, epilepsy, pains, cancer. Why should we import them when the doctors, because another thing we're fighting for is doing healthy, good nutrition. Good nutrition means that if people eat well, if people avoid the high fructose components that cause obesity and cancers, then and high blood pressure and diabetes, then we'll have less people going to hospitals. So we'll even bring back the public health officers who educate youth on good nutrition. So I think we will be saving so much in terms of medicine, and also our doctors, if they won't lack jobs because they'll go back into research and development.